Good evening. Welcome to Grandma's Attic Music Review. I'm happy to be with you, and Happy New Year. I'm so glad that you're still with us. It's been over 5 years now, and we seem to be keeping you around to watch more music. So always, I listen for and try to find and try to bring to you the best of the best music that is anywhere to be found. This time, it's not my fault. This time, this young man got a hold of me on the media source, Facebook, and asked me if he could bring his group into play in my TV show. And I'm a little wary of people that want to sell themselves on my show. I have to hear them first. But it's worth it. You're going to love this band. You're going to have so much fun. I hope you get up, put your slippers on the floor, and dance around barefoot to this, because barefoot dancing is what it's all about tonight. Please help me welcome into your home, for the first time on Grandma's Attic ever, the John Spignesi. Spignesi. The John Spignesi Band. I'd fuck up a wet dream.
This first tune's called This Is Home. Is the path you chose to lead. Now the way you will remember is the path you know you need. Once more you have seen the path is yours for the taking. Once you step out there, you see your dreams without awaking. This is home where you make it. This is home. You can't fake it. step out of that comfort zone. Take a breath of fresh air. Look around at the world around you. All that you say is there. You said you got a little lift. You've got no more to give. You said you got nowhere to go. You've got a lot to live. This is home where you make it. This is home. You can't fake it. This is home. This is home. This is home.
Let's do it.
Cool. you. Thank you. Everybody good? Everybody hear that?
Yeah, let's do it. You might explain the whole no set listing to the people who are watching in India or Bangladesh or Australia.
Not talks back like that. I don't think. but you're still standing. Thank you. They might want to pull back a little bit of mic one and the monitor. Yeah. Yeah, were you thinking the same thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's give him a scorcher, man.
Let's do it.
Ashes. Oh.
Pretty good. You okay, dude?
Decided to give you something a little bit more upbeat.
Let's do it. You good, Mitch? Long years, this is weird. My hair's not clear. I feel strange here today. Not this way. The voices are smoking. Decisions are made. Must go on without you today. The voices is quiet. Not a sound, and now our lives have crumbled like ashes to the ground. With how I feel, so surreal. I feel strange here today, not this way. The voices are smoking, decisions are made. I must go on without you today. Voices is quiet, without a sound. Now our lives have crumbled like ashes to the ground. 5 long years, this is weird. My head's not clear. I feel strange here today. Not this way. The voices are spoken, decisions are made. I must go home without you today. The voices is quiet without a sound. And now our lives have crumbled like ashes to the ground. To the ground. To the ground. To the ground.
Joe needs some help. Sweaty bass player hands. Yeah.
The choices that he makes, he's got to walk away. He's got to feel the groove and a grove in his soul. He's got to feel the groove. Breathe it in, breathe it in. He's got to breathe it in. Ain't no way I'm going down below. Let's just see where I've been. Call the doctor, 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 who's got the cure? Call the doctor, 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 who's got the cure? Call the doctor, 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 who's got the cure? He's got this feeling in his soul. His mind's gotta go. Here you go. Wow! Wow! He's got those bad vibes. He's got to shake them all. He's got to shake them all. He's got to feel the groove and a groove in his soul. He's got to feel the groove. Breathe it in, breathe it in. He's got to breathe it in. I'm going down below. slack.
I'm coming in here.
Okay.
So we're going to talk a little bit to the band, and we're going to start with John. Hi, John.
Hi, Don. How are you?
I'm awesome.
I'm wonderful.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Well, you kind of made me do it.
I did. But you're okay with it, right?
I'm very okay with it. Tell me a little bit about yourself first.
Okay. Well, I've been a musician probably for about 15 years or so. Played in
That means you started when you were like 4.
give or take. No. I'm 28. I'm about to be 29. I'm getting old, you know. So.
Oh my God! Shut up. He's talking to someone that's almost 60.
John's also the
Really?
youngest member of his own band by about 20 years.
I
Just
am the
saying.
youngest member of my own band. I don't, it doesn't make a difference to me. I love playing with these guys, but this was actually a side project to an original band that I had, and then when that group kind of disbanded, this became the full-time thing. So we've been going hard
So
since.
what made you start a band, and what made you think that you should name it after yourself?
Well, the original bass player actually told me he wouldn't play with me unless the band was named after myself because he didn't want to assume any responsibility. so, and then he left, and I was like, well, now I'm just kind of stuck with the name, so.
It works because it's not like anybody else, and that's a good thing. When you started playing music, did you realize that you were going to be doing this band kind of thing? Is this the kind of music you always wanted to play?
It is. I grew up, you know, with like the Allman Brothers and the Grateful Dead and Max Creek and all that. Max Creek is like my favorite band currently on the scene today, so they're a big influence on us, if you couldn't tell. But I grew up with this kind of music, and we kind of like incorporating it, but we kind of put our own spin on things, I think, you know?
Okay. So one of the things that you didn't do while you were playing.
Oh, God.
No. Be calm. I'm not going to spank you.
Okay.
Not in public.
Spank him, please. I want to see
Not
that.
in public. Not in public now.
She's fun.
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I know. You forgot to introduce the band. So.
Good job.
So, just because I think it's really important, because without them you'd be nothing. Let's just put it in there. Let's start with your bass player, and I'll go over and talk to him. You can introduce him, and then I'll work my way around, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, go to your mic.
Go to my mic. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Jesus. This is Dr. Joe Jeff. Oh, what, are we okay over here? This is Dr. Joe Jeffrey, who just received his PhD, actually, pretty recently. So.
Ooh, let me turn.
EDD. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Piece of paper about this big.
Right, but I just went back to school too, so I understand going back to school and doing the big work.
Yes, no doubt. I mean, actually, joining this band in April and coming out is a celebration of finishing that degree. I thought, how am I going to celebrate? Let's get up with a cool band, and this is what I did.
That's cool. What are you going to do with that degree?
I teach in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and I'm hoping to bring my experience and my degree out to support what they do administratively there in that city.
Very big goals. Thank you very much for being an educator. We need good educators, and we need educators that believe in the role of music in our education system. And I I'm going to assume that you believe that music belongs in our education system.
Yes, without a doubt. I teach English, but I love all the subjects. But I think that it's music and industrial arts and expressive arts and all kinds of things like that. That's what really teaches you how to be your best human, to be your best self. And I think it adds to all the other things in your life and all the regular good old subjects too.
Okay, I love you.
Isn't he so well spoken?
Not only that, he's got all the right dreams and goals and aspirations, so that's a good thing. What made you decide to play bass?
Bass is, I've come to understand it as the glue of the band. And my last band was like a bossa nova jazz group with like a double bass. And I missed a practice one day. We sounded different when you weren't here. And it's
You think?
No, but what I want to do, I think the best things I'm trying to do are whatever makes Mitch and Matt and Spig sound their best selves. That's when I'm sounding my best self. So I think that's what bass is about for me, and I feel fantastic when that's going on. the band.
Well, it sounds like you do a really good job of that, and your bass solos were kick ass.
Yes, they were.
So thank you so much for playing bass, Mr. Bassman.
Hey, you got it. Thank
All
you.
right, next introduction, my dear.
Where are we going?
I'm going right here. I'm
Okay.
going to play with this pickle.
Mr. Pickle fell down and he went boom.
Oh, jeez.
I knew you weren't going to say their
You need a
names.
mascot.
Yeah. This is Matt Alling back here on the drums.
All right, Matt, I'm trying to get in here so I can get to you. I don't want to fall down. Me falling into your drum set would really suck.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
What makes you a drummer?
Been doing this all my life. It sticks in my hand since I was 2, so I hope I'm a drummer by now.
You're pretty good at what you do.
Oh, well, thank you. I teach too, so.
You're a school teacher also.
No, I'm a drum
You
instructor.
teach drum and
I-
a drum teacher. Do people need to be taught to play the drums?
Oh, God, yes. Very much so.
Do you think that there's a lot of people out there that really haven't been taught the fundamentals?
I do, actually. I see a lot of players. I can tell when a player has not been, has not taken lessons from a good instructor. It's kind of obvious.
It is. What makes you be such an important part of this band?
Oh,
Founding member, baby.
Well-
Let me rephrase.
well, John tells me I'm an
I
important.
can answer that.
Let me rephrase the question. What is it about this band that you feel is important enough for you to be a part of?
The freedom to kind of express myself and play what I want. John gives me a lot of freedom in what I do. I have a lot of input in as we all do, with the writing and the arranging. I do a lot of the vocal arranging in the band. I kind of love what I do with this band. I love the fact that I get to play with a lot of freedom. And John very, very rarely says, "Don't do that," unless I'm playing with one hand behind his back. He hates that.
Which is still good when he does that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly what that means. Is that something I want to take a look at?
No, that's just when I play with one hand and one stick instead of 2. And
Okay,
Just smile and nod, Doc.
yes,
Just smile and nod.
smile and nod.
Yeah.
I got that.
Just no idea what I'm talking about.
I understand smile and nod. I do it often in my life. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So, are you trained in other music besides the drums?
I took vocal lessons when I was in high school and college. I also played the didgeridoo. That was self-taught.
Didgeridoo is a cool instrument,
Yes,
one of
it
my
is.
faves.
It really is. I like playing it. Circular breathing's a pain in the ass to learn, though.
Well, it's not an easy instrument to play.
No.
And we don't hear it a lot, especially in modern music. But certainly when we hear it, we know that that's what it is.
Absolutely. I keep trying to get John to incorporate it into a song. I'm hoping on the next album, maybe. Just because.
It's a thing. It's a thing, John.
I know.
See, I get
The
that volume loving
didgeridoo is
stare.
the didgeridoo is one of the coolest instruments ever created by man.
Can you didgeridoo? Don't.
Only if I play it wrong.
Oh boy! Can you mic yourself here so we can?
Are you sure on that?
I thank you for being a part of this band and thank you for letting us know about the didgeridoo.
Thank you for having us here today.
Absolutely, my
Love to hear
joy.
it.
Move on.
Okay. This is another founding member right over here. I've been playing with this guy probably the longest. This is Chris Mitchell on the keys. Call him Mitch, though.
We call you Mitch. Hi Mitch, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm just gonna let him use his mic back there, y'all, people. So just talk into your mic, it makes it easier for both of us. How long have you been playing the keys?
Oh, 25 years?
So you were 4 when you started?
No, I'm 47.
Welcome to my nightmare. Yeah.
A long time.
Do you enjoy playing the keys with this band?
I love playing with this band. This is the most fun I've ever had playing with anybody in my life.
Have you played with other bands?
I've been in many bands
What
over
kind
the
of
years.
bands have you been in?
Grateful Dead, kind of.
Always?
Pretty much jam stuff. My first bands were, a lot of covers. And Yeah, this is the most fun I've ever had playing with anybody.
So what do you think about the fact that this is a mostly original band?
I love that.
How much input,
That's why I'm in this band, because of the songs.
how much input do you
Here.
have in putting these songs together?
He lets me do whatever I want to do, so I think I have a lot of input.
And that's good for you.
It's great. Like
How
Matt
much-
was saying, it's just freedom of being able to play what I want to play. I can play a song different every other time.
Well, there's, just for the record, there's you up on Facebook playing just what you want to play. I got some good video of that. It looks great.
Nice.
What exactly is your idea about music and being classically trained and the piano?
Classically trained, that's where you kind of got to start. You think, learn the basics. It's a tough question.
It is- I'm the interviewer, you're the interviewee. Part A, part B, you're playing an instrument that I feel belongs in every single home.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
we've got 3 people saying agree. How do you feel about being classically trained and playing the piano?
I think it's something you have to do. You have to learn the right way to play.
Do you feel
Yeah.
that piano is fundamental to good music?
Oh, absolutely.
You would,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
a keyboard player.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the bass.
Did your parents start you playing piano when you hated it, or did you want to start playing piano?
Oh, I wanted to start playing piano. My first instrument was actually violin.
Nice. That's
know.
not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Stringed instruments are pretty intense.
Learn something new every day.
Yep. Once I picked up the guitar and the keyboards, I kind of forgot about the violin and started playing ace.
That's all good. That's all good.
Yeah.
If you could tell the world one thing about piano playing and how it fits into daily living, what would you tell them?
Practice.
Once a day for
At
15,
least.
20 minutes?
Yeah, every day.
For 15,
Just
20
play and
minutes?
play and
Or
play, and
for
you'll
an
get
hour?
better and better and better at it. You'll.
Do you
You
play
might not
every
realize
day?
it while it's happening, but as you do it every day, you just get a little better.
Do you practice every day?
Absolutely. I can't go one day without playing my piano.
It's like
Yeah.
an obsession.
It is, absolutely.
I didn't like it then. I sit down and play Hannon's about 3 times a week now, and I don't even play the piano. So there we go. It's been a joy and a pleasure talking to you, Mitch.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thanks for
I'm going
having us.
back over here. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm-
You
I'm
want
a-
to use
do you
that
want me-
mic?
Do you want me to use this? I
I
can do
don't
this
know.
move every time.
I guess they'll tell us if we're not doing the right thing.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
I get told that a lot, so, you know.
That you're not doing the right thing?
Yeah.
So,
You know, so it goes. Could be worse.
as the youngest member of the band,
Yep.
do you take direction well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Matt and I are like the kings of like disagreeing. but we usually, though, when we
Except that first
disagree, it's
time.
usually because we want to compromise. We want to find some kind of common ground. So he may have an idea that I may, kick back, but I come up with like an alternate solution that usually we're both happy with, or vice versa. So.
All right. So, it's obvious that the whole band writes music together. Who comes up with the lyrics and who comes up with the original, like, you come up with all the original idea and all the lyrics?
Usually I post like, we have a private Facebook group, and usually I'll post like a video of me playing like an acoustic guitar, like, hey guys, here's like a new song, or whatever, and then they'll comment, Joe will be like, I have an idea for a bass riff, or Matt will be like, I have an idea for a drum intro. Matt's coming up with a drum intro that's in Morse code currently for a new song that we're currently working on, so that's a work in progress.
That's fun.
Right.
That's a lot of fun.
Sometimes we don't get anything at all before a show, and he'll just bust into a new song we've never heard.
How's that work for you guys?
Well, it works out well because they have no preconceived notions, so they kind of just go with what they feel right off the bat. That song that we played before, For You, I think we played it at a private party. I just kind of went right into it. And he went into a nice reggae intro, and he followed right along. So 99.9% of the time, it works out.
That's nice. Do you have a feeling about how you want a song to go when you're writing a song? Do you have a feeling about whether you want it to be Grateful Dead-ish or Bob Marley-ish? Let me just put out 2 people there just to, which way do you know when a song is supposed to go which way? Never mind. Just keep talking.
Okay. Ooh, that's kind of nice. It's like back. It's like hit music. Usually, I have an idea roughly, but then once we launch into it, we can not. But that's the thing that we like to do. I mean, we are not bound to any genre whatsoever, and we don't make set lists
All
either.
over the board, no set lists ever.
Yeah.
No set list is a good thing.
Yeah, oh, it's my
I think that
favorite.
it's a wonderful thing when there's no set list. That means you guys know your stuff and you know to go with the flow. Now, how do you feel about your audiences? Do you follow your audience's lead when it comes to your music, or do you follow your band's lead?
Most of the time it's the crowd, because you got to kind of go off what they're feeling. So we've played like festivals where it's like very sit-down-ish, like dinner type of crowd almost, like a performing arts festival. We know that we can't come out there and do like that heavy metal song, or
Right.
we'll drive them away,
Right.
So we adapt the set based on the crowd. Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
Right? It's always the goal. You have to be able to read the crowd in order to know what it is that they're looking for.
Now, you seem to have 3 very intelligent, gifted, and classically somewhat trained musicians in your band.
Mhm.
Did you go looking for them, or did it all just kind of happen?
Well, Matt and Mitch, we used to jam together at the Donovan's Reef in Branford Open Mic Night for years. Like, God, it must have been 5-6 years ago. now.
As I recall, it all started with a piece of constructive criticism.
It did. And yes, so I played with Matt, and we were playing The Thrill Is Gone, B.B. King, and then I launched into this like insane like Yngwie Malmsteen like sweeping solo, and I was like 19 or whatever, and he came up to me and he's like, I need to offer you some criticism. I'm like, who's this guy? Like, this guy with this really long beard and, like...
Yeah.
The first time we ever played together,
Right.
too.
But I respect the fact that he was willing to come at me with that kind of stuff, because he wasn't just going to be like, I hate when people just come up to you and say, that was good. Why was it good? What did you like about it?
Please explain to me
Exactly.
what you like about my music.
Exactly. So, and I respect that, and the fact that he was honest about it. I knew I wanted to play with him. Mitch and I had been playing together for years before that. He used to use one of those serving trays to put his keyboard on. Do you remember that? That was great. So.
Good old
That's
days.
awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, can we get this on camera? Let's talk about this new CD. Tell us a little bit about it. Let me take my fingers off. How's that? Can you see that?
I think you're good.
There you go. So tell us about this new CD so you all can go out and get it.
Yes. So this came out in May of this year. We released it. We had the release party at Strange Creek Music Festival up in Greenfield, Mass.
Nice.
Yeah, we had the cabin late night, so that was our late night seating thing. It was so packed in there that like fire marshal came and was almost about to shut it down.
He did shut it down.
He did shut it down.
Halfway through the
at one
show,
point.
nobody else could get in. There was about 700 people camped out outside the cabin.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's wonderful.
We had a blast.
That's a great festival anyway. So how did you get to play it?
I've been playing it on and off for probably around 5 years or so.
Oh, okay. So you had an easy in.
When the guy messaged me and asked if we were interested in booking, I was like, hey, our album happens to come out on that day. And he was like, do you want the cabin? I was like, is that even a question?
Yeah.
Of course we want the cabin.
Yes,
So.
absolutely.
Well, yeah.
Right. Which I
So
know.
tell us, social media is extremely important in promoting yourself and the band and the things that go on for you. Can you give our audience all the places and all the ways that they can find you and see where you're playing, etc.,
Sure.
including where they can get this wonderful CD?
Yes, absolutely. So the main website is jsbmusic.org, and on there you'll find links to bios, shows and all that. We've recorded every single show we've ever played, including today.
Yep.
My recorder's over there. So
Well, it also is on DVD that you'll take home with you.
Fantastic.
awesome. So everything we've ever recorded is on there. We're also on Bandcamp, johnspignesiband.bandcamp.com. Both albums are on there. Am I forgetting anything? We just got on Pandora, which is pretty cool. We have our own Pandora
Nice.
station.
Are we on Spotify?
We are on
Apple
Spotify.
Music,
Help me out here, guys.
iTunes.
Am I forgetting anything?
iTunes, Apple Music.
iTunes. Anywhere you can find music, you
Okay.
can find us.
Nice.
So.
And now they're
Choose
going to
download
be
chat.
being played on WCNI New London, 90.9 FM on your dial. Also can be heard on iHeartRadio.com. So,
Wow. Have you done that once or twice? God, that was awesome.
all right. So what I'd like to do is walk away from you guys now and let you take us out with a song, because I think that we should end with your beautiful music.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much for forcing me to have you on my show.
But you loved it, right?
I absolutely am thoroughly thrilled that you were here. So
Thank you.
we'll trade places
Sounds
and I'll
good.
leave.
When are we taking them out with John?
Yeah, we should do Beautiful Dream. Yeah, they
Okay.
did. Joe, you gotta switch mic.
Do you still need that for the ending, or?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Keep it. good, Joe? Are you tangled up in me?
Tangled up in speed.
Ready, Dr. Jeffrey?
I'm ready.